Okay, so we are going to continue from where we left, and it was this lab, right? The third lab, via response timing. So let's start. You will need to kind of like test each and every vulnerability manually, and sometime when you get expertise, you will be able to recognize it directly. Why it is taking too much time? All right. So first of one was that we got invalid username. Second one was that invalid username or password, but the developer forgot to put dot in the actual username. That's why we were able to hack it. Now in this, we are going to see what happens, right? So admin, and when we say login, it says invalid username or password. Okay, so what we are going to do, again, we are going to test if the website is checking first the username and then password. We are going to check that, and if that's the case, then what will happen is that we will okay, wait, they have given the Wiener Peter, they have given the actual username and password. So what we can do, we will first observe what happens when we do login on a correct username, right, on the Wiener and Peter, and then we are going to check what happens when we do a wrong input such as admin1234 and what type of response we get. All right, but usually what we do, we just add the longest password and we brute force the username. And if the website is checking for what I say is, if the website is checking for the username first then password, then we can easily able to find it. All right, so I am sending through burp. Intercept is on. Now let's send it. Login. Okay, send to intruder, send to repeater, forward, intercept, stop. All right, so now we are at the repeater, right? So what we are going to see here, let's say I send the request admin and password. So what the output we get is that invalid username or password. Okay, and when we render it, we don't need to render it, we can just see here. Okay, now let's say when we add Wiener, W-I-E-N-E-R, I hope that's the right spelling, Wiener and Peter, and we send it. Okay, so they are blocking our IP address, they are blocking our attack. So we need to find the way to overcome this blocking, right? So let's say first we are going to find the username. Let's set the password very long. Control-C, Control-V. All right, I have set the very long password, and we are going to set the username here. Add. And if you remember the cheat sheet from the previous video, let me open that also. Web vulnerability, yes. Okay. All right, so here we have the cheat sheet. Okay, so in IP blocking there is used two mechanisms, right, which you can exploit. All right, there are many ways a developer can block your IP address, and developer may prevent the brute force attack, but this is the two ways where we can do that. The first is if they have used X forwarded for in their headers, right? If they have used that, then we can send our custom IP address and it will work. And the second thing is if they are blocking after X tries, then this is also happening in our case, but we don't know if the mechanism one is there or not, so we are going to check it. Okay, so let's just check it right now. So admin, all right, payloads, I'm just saving the usernames. Okay, no, not this one. Load username one, not Okay, let me just copy paste it. Okay, so we have this usernames, right? And let me just also add the regex to grab it. That way we won't need to do manually each time. So it is saying you have made too many incorrect login attempts. Please try again in 30 minutes. That's very bad. So let's see what happens. Alright, we have sent very long password, right? So there is not going to be any response time because there is not going to be any change in response time. Why? Because they have actually blocked our brute force, right? Even if we see here there is this info account, it is taking too much, but still it is saying you have made too many incorrect login attempts. So let's check if they support X forwarded for in headers, right? So let's go here and let me add it here, X forwarded for. If you want to know more about what is X forwarded for, then you should Google and you will get the link of Mozilla Firefox, and they will explain actually that what is X forwarded for, what is forwarded for, what to use, when to use. They explain it, so you should check it out. Right, and I will just say we are also going to do a brute force here, right? Okay. Payloads clear on the one. Okay, so pitchfork attack is that when you have two different fields or multiple different fields which you want to brute force, and it is going to take one by one. All right, not for one. For example, there is one username and one password. So it is, if you have 10 username and 10 password, pitchfork attack will take username 1, password 1, username 2, password 2, username 3, password 3. All right, it's not going to do like username 1, password 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, username 2, password 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what we call a cluster bomb attack. Okay, this is pitchfork attack. So what we are going to do, in the first we have this. So we are going to generate this payload as, let's say, you can even say the numbers, random numbers. All right, let's just say random numbers. 100. All right, step is going to be 1. Let's set random. Okay, 0 to 100 and random. Minimum integer is 100, 100. So let's try it now, what happens. We can see, and of course we are sending long string in the password. Okay, so we are doing multiple things at the same time, right? Okay, so this time they are not blocking our attack. There is no output in this one. Okay, there is now. You have made too many incorrect login attempts. So in AU we got you have made too many incorrect login attempts, but that is also because we have used random passwords, right? So let's see column response time. Okay, let's see, just see. It took 8,000, right? You can see there is way too big difference between all of them. If you took the median, then it is probably going to be somewhere, it is 200 to 962. So let's say it is going to be around 400 to 500, but this one is 8,831. So of course our user is Azure user, right? We found out the user. Now we are going to do brute force on the password. So let's just send this to the intruder, so I don't need to do manually each time. And for the password we are going to set here. and X forwarded 4, okay, we also need to set it there, so add that also. It is going to be pitchfork. Payloads, the first is going to be random numbers. Rather than random, we should have used the sequential. The reason being is that last time 2 number will repeated and we got 1 incorrect login. Okay, 100. Okay, so we have this 100 and 100, 1 to 100, let's say 0 to 100 because password are 101, and then on the second we are going to put the passwords. Right, so we can just copy paste all. They should really make a button to copy all. Paste, and now let's run the our attack. Okay, I forgot to do the grape. So here we don't have any. Okay, so here is our status code 302, which you can see baseball. So our user was Azure user and status code is, password is baseball, right? So we can log in right now where it is. Yes, and password was baseball. Okay. Well, all right. What was the response? We got the cookie, right? We have the cookie. Let's just request in the browser. Copy URL. Let's go directly. Okay, so I will need to shut down my Foxy proxy in order to reach this. So let me just grab the cookie. Okay, we are logged in, right? Yes. So what I did is just I added the actual cookie which we received, right? I just added the actual cookie and that's why it worked. And if you want to do a request in browser, you can do that, but I will need to do, in order to do that, I will need to shut down my Foxy proxy plugin, which I don't wanted to do that. That's why we just directly go for it. Okay. So now we have solved that lab and we are going to go with another. So we completed this, right? And this time we are going to work with the IP block, which is again going to be happen, which we already discussed here, but still this one is somewhat different. It is not entirely same, but somewhat different only. So let's see what they are saying. This lab is vulnerable due to logic flaw in its brute force production. To solve this lab, brute force the victim password, then logged in and access their account page. So we already have the username here, which is Carlos, and we need to hack it, right? So let's do that. Wiener Peter, okay. Yes, I speak English. Okay, so we need to log in as a Carlos, but let's set with the Wiener, and what happens, let's check Wiener and Peter. we logged in, right? Your username is Wiener. Okay. Now about the Carlos. What happens when we add the wrong entry? It says incorrect password. That means we cannot, okay, we already have the username. So we can just do a simple brute force on the password and we will get the username, right? We will get the password. So let's try Carlos and 1234, and I will send it to the my burp suite, which is going to be that. And here let's set the proxy on. Login. Oh, what I did, I have no idea. Okay, let's do it again. So we have this request where we are trying to do with the Carlos, and let's just simply add the password here, which is going to be that, right? Let's see what happens when we add the password. Okay, no, not this one. Does Control A work here? No. Very good. Paste. So what it is saying is that we have made way too many incorrect login attempts. Please try again in 1 minute, right? So let's try with x forwarded 4, right? Okay, let's try with x forwarded 4 this time. We are going to try with x forwarded 4. Okay, let's set the passwords there also. So either way, it doesn't matter. All right. So let's do that. We still get the error, you have made too many incorrect login attempts. Okay, so we should kind of like do here, rather than in password, we can just set the numbers. Random. How many? 100, 100, 100. Okay, that will work. Alright, let's see. Okay. So we are having incorrect login attempts, or you have made too many incorrect login attempts, right? So x forwarded 4 is not working, and it is still blocking our IP address. So let's go to the cheat sheet. Okay. So now there is this also blocking after x failed tries. This is, in our current scenario, we have mechanism 2, right? The blocking after n failed tries. So what we can do here, we can inject our correct login and see does IP still getting blocked or not. Right, we are trying to see if website is vulnerable or not. Let's say I am doing Carlos. Okay, so this will be our attempt 1. Login. Attempt 1. All right. So we have already error. We cannot do for 1 minute. Okay. So now what happens if we try to log in our actual username? WIENER, Peter. So if we add the correct password, then we can just log in, right? And let's go back. Now check. So we added correct login, Carlos 1234. I am just setting incorrect password. So the block is removed, right? So what website is right now doing is that it is just preventing failed login attempts. All right, if you have X amount of failed login attempts, then IP is blocked, right? But as soon as I added the correct login attempt, our block is removed. So we are going to do, what we are going to do, we are going to create a custom username and pass list in which we will add our actual login also, winner Peter. Peter is going to be in the password, and our username Carlos, and with this pass list, right? So let me just save this pass list into a file. Okay, we are going to save this into the file. So I have saved the passwords, all right, and in the username we are going to have Carlos and Wiener. Carlos and Wiener, we are going to have those usernames. So what I am doing here is that for I in dollar sequence 1 to 100 or 1 to 200, do what we are doing here. See, echo Carlos, all right, this is going to be our username, into usernames dot txt. Then we will add our actual username, which is going to be WIENER, Wiener, into usernames dot txt. Okay, done. So what we have our username and then Carlos, our username and then Carlos. So what we are going to do in the password list is that we will create okay, first is Carlos, all right, no problem. We will create pass list, then our password. Carlos password, Wiener password. Carlos password, Wiener password. I hope you understand that. So what I am going to do for I in dollar cat passwords dot txt, all right, do what I want to do is dollar echo I, because first is Carlos, so we must have Carlos password there. So I am just going to say password dot txt, and our Peter should be there. Peter password dot txt, done. All right, now if we do a password, oh, I should have renamed properly. Okay, what happened there? Right, we made some sort of very big mistakes. So password is correct, right? We haven't changed anything there. Okay, no problem. So what? Okay, here I should give proper name, new password. Oh, okay, it was screenshot, I got scared. Whew. Okay, so now we have our proper pass list, right? Now we are going to try it here. Burp suite, right? In position we have this. Okay, that's fine. Now I am just going to remove X forwarded 4 because it was not working at all, right? X forwarded 4 did not work, so we just add it here. Add, also add. And for first try, I want it here to Wiener. So if we do a correct login, our IP don't go into the block at all. WIENER and Peter. Peter, and in the payloads I'm going to set on the first is going to be simple list, which is going to be our usernames, right? Usernames. On the second, we are going to use our created passwords, which is new passwords, right? So first we have 1 2 3 4 5 because our first user is Carlos. All right, then Peter password. All right, so everything is set, right? Okay, now we just grab. Already we have grabbed it. Let's start an attack. What happens? Let's see. Why is there is no error? Status score 400. Missing parameter. So we probably fucked up somewhere. In request we probably made somewhere mistake. What parameter is missing? We send it to repeater, right? Yes. I don't see any missing parameter. Okay. So it is saying incorrect password, right? We actually have 302 code. That means these are going to be our Peters, right? Winner Peter. Why we have 200? Yes, you have made too many login attempts. Please try again. So it is still doing that, and the reason being is that Burp Suite intruder sends multiple requests at the same time. So we need to slow it down. Okay, we need to set it one request at a time. So I am going to set a maximum concurrent request should be 1 and delay between should be 10. I am just setting a random delay. So let's start it. You can use a random delays, that is also going to be very useful, but right now I am just going to use as it is. So now, okay, we are still getting blocked. So why the okay, yes. So our first request should always be Wiener Peter. All right, WIENER and Peter. Okay, now so as we slowed it down, it is actually working properly, right? None of our attack is getting blocked and it is working. But yes, of course, in real life you cannot afford to do one request per minute. One thread per request, right? You cannot afford to do that because it will take that much amount of time to actually complete the brute force. So if you have 10,000 pass lists, think of 10,000 extra millisecond you will need to include. 126. Let's filter by the status code and also filter with the Carlos. So apply. Okay, here we have Carlos. I think we can stop the attack now. Pause. So we have password QAZWSX. QAZWSX. Alright, we can log in. Carlos QAZWXS. Fuck. QAZWSX. Password is right. Carlos QAZWSX. Fuck, dude. All right. Okay, so we just go back now and again try. I thought that we could have solved multiple labs right now, but this particular took way too much time. This particular lab took way too much time. So we logged in, right? Okay, so we solved this lab, IP block 1. Okay, so how much time it has passed? It has been 30 minutes. Alright, no problem. So we will make another video for the next 2 lab, right? So next, how much? 1 and 2 is remaining. So okay, we will do next in the next video.